Welcome back to Reads of an Apple. My name is Stacy, and we are here today to talk about my enormous, massive, a lot going on plans for reading books in the month of August of 2023. Let's just jump into it because I have a lot going on. There's a lot happening. So, if you are new here, typically I have a specific order that I like to talk about my TBR in. Hello, hi, how are you? And Cheats would like to say hi, hello. You say hello. You're all wet. Were you playing in your water dish? Oh no, you're covered in cat food. Great! All right, we are covered in soft food. All right, well, that's fun. The joys of being a cat mom, right? Okay, anyway, let's go back to books, and I'm just going to pretend that I'm not covered in cat food here. Yeah, I know. So, typically I have an order that I like to talk about my TBRs in. However, what's typically the second item on my list, monthly readathons, or just readathons going on during the month, has a lot. It's a lot, I'll be honest. There's a lot going on. So, we are going to do things somewhat reverse. So we're going to talk about new releases first and then go in backwards order. And then I'll just switch the last two so we can save readathons for the end. I don't know why. I'd rather do that than just pull readathons out and go in my typical order and then add readathons in. But we're just going to do it in reverse because why not? Hi. Can you clean yourself, please? So new releases is first today. If you have not seen it, I do quarterly romance releases I'm excited for. Now, typically what I like to do is just touch base on 3 in my monthly TBR that I have not mentioned in the quarterly anticipated releases. However, not very many books have been announced that I've seen for August that have joined the list that are highly anticipated reads that weren't already mentioned in that. So the 3 I'm mentioning were mentioned in that previous video. So I'm sorry if you watched the other one and you were hoping to see new books, but this is where we're at. So August 22nd, we have An EARL to Remember by Stacy Reed. This is the second book in, I forgot what it's called, this series, but the first book is A Matter of Temptation. But I'm super excited for this. This is a historical romance retelling of the classic Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell movie, Overboard. And that's one of my favorite movies. Growing up, my boss and I quote it. Maybe not weekly, but probably bi-weekly. We quote it a lot, especially when Goldie Hawn is completely over, mentally exhausted from the kids. And she just sits there and she's like, blah, 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 blah. My boss and I do that all the time when we're just stressed out from customers. But anyway, super excited for this. I've had it pre-ordered since pre-orders went up. Cannot wait for it. The next book I want to mention is Magic Strikes by Ilona Andrews. This is the 3rd book in the Kate Daniels series. But you may be saying, Stacy, wait, Kate Daniels series? This isn't a new release. This one is, because this is the graphic audio. I cannot wait. It probably won't drop on Hoopla till probably September. Usually they're a little bit past when the release date is on wide and from graphic audio themselves, but I have been rereading the Kate Daniels series slowly as the graphic audios come out, and they are just so great. I cannot recommend graphic audio enough if you have not read them. They are audiobooks. Their tagline is a movie in your mind, and they just elevate reading experiences, for me at least, to beyond amazing. It has music, sound effects, every character, even the smallest side character has a different voice, if not a different voice actor. And they're just so well produced, and have just been loving every single graphic audio that I pick up. So I highly recommend them. A lot of them are available on Hoopla. So check your Hoopla if your library has Hoopla. The final new release I'd like to talk about is Ruling SIKTHAND by Victoria Aveline. This is the 7th book in her Cleclanian series. I cannot wait. She's been teasing this in her Patreon for a little while with fan art and the cover, and we just had the blurb drop recently. I cannot wait. I'm so excited for this book, and I love Victoria Aveline. This is one of my favorite sci-fi series. I have all of her books in paperback, and I cannot wait. I don't know if I'll be able to get to it this month. I probably will receive an ARC because I am a Patreon member of hers, but I might not get to it in August because, as you will see, there's a lot going on. But who knows? Who knows? Okay. Now, next, I want to touch base on my yearly Readathons. Now, first off, I will mention I have been participating in the Magical Readathon year... What is it? 2023 Adventure in Aldea? It's a year-long readathon with one prompt a month set in the world that G created for her Magical Readathon. However, there is not a prompt for this month because this month is the Autumn Equinox Readathon, which we will touch base on later. But I did want to mention it's still a thing. It's still ongoing. But this month is specifically, there is no prompt for the year because we will be in class. But I am still participating in Romanceopoly. My current prompt is The Bar. I have an idea of what book I want to pick up for this, but we will see what ends up happening. This is prompt 29 of 39, so I am making good headway. I'm over halfway through it, so I'm pretty excited and happy to just continuing to kind of fit in Romanceopoly prompts where I can. Hi! Now you're covered in water because you just took a drink and you've got water all over your chin. Oh gosh, and we're coming through. Hi. Okay, I guess we're doing this. The other yearly readathon I'm participating in is Guildathon. I am now guild leader for Crimson Flame, and I'm just chugging along on this. Things have kind of been a little bit quiet. There's a lot of life stuff kind of happening with the people who organized it, but I'm still trucking along and submitting my points and counting all the books I read for it. So, you know, I'm just gonna continue forward and keep plugging away at it, which is super fun. Now we will talk about quarterly challenges that I have going on. I do want to briefly mention Feels Like Summer. I mentioned this in my previous couple TBRs, but I have since finished it. But if you still want to participate, it does go through the end of August. Just check out my previous TBRs for the information on that. I'm also participating in the Ripped Bodice Summer Bingo. Here is my bingo board where it's at, and I have 23 of 25 prompts done. What I have left is Fae/Fairies and Prohibition. I do plan on picking up the 3rd book in Jen Bennett's Roaring Twenties series for Prohibition. I'm spacing on the name, but this is the book here. This is historical paranormal romance. So it's set in the 20s, and I really enjoyed this. I read the first 2 books in this series a while ago, but for some reason never got around to the final book in the series. But I'm excited to kind of go back to it and pick it up. It's been a while since I read a Jen Bennett book, but I have a couple of her like fantasy series I have in paperback that I really enjoyed. This one, for some reason, my library doesn't have it. We have the ebook, the audiobook, in the paperback copies of the first 2 books in this series, but not the 3rd book in any format, which is kind of bonkers. But I ended up buying a used copy of it off of thrift books. I checked a couple other used places and it was like $20. And I'm like, $20 for an old paranormal historical mass market paperback is ridiculous. So I just got one off of thrift books because it was like $4 or something ridiculous. You were so cuddly. My goodness. So I plan on picking up that one. As for Fae Fairies, that'll be easy. I just need to pick up a fantasy romance. I know I could continue on in Alyssa Thorne's Fae Universe series. I have the final book in her Ironwood series, which would count for that. And then we also have her new spin-off of that one, which is the Lost Fae King series. So that'll be super easy to hit. I could also pick up the graphic audio for A Course of Court of Frost and Starlight and do that reread, because I know we're going to have the second part of Silver Flames in like October-ish is the second half of that one. So lots of options for that one, but that will be very easy to hit those 2 prompts before the end of the month. And this one is the same where it runs through August 31st. Okay, and we're done. And now I'm covered in cat hair too. You were shedding like a crazy little kitty. Okay, now the other 2 quarterly challenges I want to briefly touch base on are from Goodreads. I am a member of the Goodreads Club Romance Readers Reading Challenges group. I just have to like count it out here. In the forums on Goodreads, they have lots of different monthly challenges, quarterly challenges. There's a whole bunch of them. The 2 that I am currently participating in is the 2023 Summer Musical Tour. This goes through September 14th. You can backdate any books you've read to when it started. That's true for any of these challenges. This one has 35 normal prompts. As I mentioned, it's the 2023 Summer Musical Tour. So all of the prompts are based around musical artists who are touring this summer. So the base prompts is 35, and then you can do bonus prompts if you don't want to do one of the normal prompts. Well, I am crazy. So I have hit 34 of the 35 prompts. However, I was like, let's do the bonus prompts. And it was like, pick a favorite artist. And I was like, well, let's do one of my favorite artists, my favorite K-pop group, which is Super Junior. And they were like, pick a song or a book for that artist. And I'm like, no. So we're going to do Super Junior. We're going to do all of the subgroups. So Super Junior T, Super Junior H, Super Junior M, Super Junior D and E, and Super Junior K or Y. I think that's all of them. And then I was like, let's also pick a song off of each of their 11 studio albums. So my prompt list is 52, not 35. But that's fine. We have till September 14th. So I'm a big music lover, and I was like, we're going to do it. We're going to go balls to the walls with it. So yeah, I'm still trucking away on that one. And then the other one we have is Read the Season. We are currently in the Maltese edition. So this is the season, summer, in the Maltese language. And then we have 7 holidays that are also in Maltese, and you read a book for each of the letters in these words. For summer, that is 102 prompts, which is a lot for my current reading pace. I have read 24 of the 102, but I've already finished level 1, which is Read the Season, so I have at least officially participated and completed it. I don't think I'm going to hit Extreme, which is Read Everything, but we shall see. But that one runs until September 22nd, so we have almost 2 full months left on that one, which is nice. Okay, then this is kind of a quarterly... This one kind of is an in-betweener. So, since back before I had a BookTube channel and I was doing blogging, I have been a longtime fan and participant and enjoyer of Shelby Taggart Reads content on Instagram. She used to do quarterly seasonal challenges, And she has kind of taken a little break from Instagram. She had a baby and then there was some life stuff happening, but she is back. And she announced that she's going to do a mini Summer of Swoon. I didn't notice it at first, but she posted it sometime in July that she did like a mini July version. And so we have a mini August version as well. So here is the mini Summer of Swoon. So this is August 1st through August 31st. All of these prompts I think are super, super easy to hit. And there's just 12 of them. So I feel like you could just read normally and get through most of these. But the 12 prompts are a romance you saw on Instagram, a title that starts with the letter A, an August release from any year, continue a series, travel or vacation romance, a new release, a photo cover, beach or water on the cover, an indie author, an illustrated cover, summer vibes, or an author you love. So like I said, super easy. I think the hardest one or the most effort to go out of your way to find a book for this one would probably be travel or vacation romance, because that one's like a specific blurb kind of a thing. But I feel like with summer vibes, you could pretty much account any book for that, especially if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, because, well, I guess their summer is just around Christmas time. So, I mean, you could do a Christmas book and be like, I'm in Australia, so, you know, summer is Christmas time for us or something like that. But, you know, you get the deal. I feel like this is just pretty easy to meet. So, super excited for that. Now, the final thing is we have read-along books or book club books and readathons. So we're not going to continue going reverse. We're going to flip-flop these last two. We're going to talk about my read-along book. So we are still moving forward in the Ilona Andrews read-along. And the next series is going to be their Edge series. So the first book is On the Edge. The read-along is hosted by Stef from Novelty Corner, Megan from Meowth Vader, Heather from Hia Booktubes, and Izzy from Happy for Now. All of the live shows are on Stef's channel. Right now, I think it's scheduled for August 25th. It's like the third or final Friday in the month, typically. So super excited. This is an Ilona Andrews series I haven't read. These are all interconnected standalones. So each book in the series is going to be centered around a main couple. So this will be more of a stereotypical romance format instead of a series or several books that are dealing with just one couple. So I'm super excited for this. This is also kind of loosely connected, maybe not so loosely connected, to the Innkeeper Chronicles series, which we just wrapped up that portion of the read along. So I'm excited. I'm excited to read more and some books that I haven't read from Ilona Andrews yet. So super excited for this. And that's the only read-along / book club book I have. So let's touch base on Readathon. So like I mentioned, we have the little mini Summer of Swoon from before. But I have one that I knew coming into the year that was going to be a big one for August. And then we have a new announcement. So let's talk about the new announcement and then we will move forward. So, let me grab my notes and we will just gonna get into it. So Maggie's Books and Stuff has announced that she is going to be doing a romance readathon. I believe she said every year in the month of August. Don't quote me on it. I will link her announcement video up here. But the theme for 2023 is Bridgerton, aka historical romance. And I am so excited for this. There are 5 teams. But instead of it being a typical team format, your team is a character, a debutante, if you will, who is going to participate in the season. Hello, you want more lovings? Oh my goodness. Oh, you are so lonely today. So we have the Blue Stocking, the Wallflower, the Hoyden, the Seductress, and then the team that I chose, the Protector. So Maggie is also a host, I think, for Team Wallflower, but she's also the creator. But the Protector team leaders are Mama Needs to Read Romance and XO Joe. I will have everybody linked down below. So our character is Miss Gia Kapoor, And her little tagline is, "My sword does the talking." So I'll read the little blurb about her. And I have cat hair in my mouth now. Thank you for that. So Miss Gia Kapoor is known for being charming, courageous, and infuriatingly obstinate. Growing up with her younger brother, she learned everything he did: how to ride astride, how to fence, and how to shoot, all of which have come in handy due to her brother's nasty habit of gambling, which he, unfortunately, isn't even good at. Can you believe that? So I'm super excited. I almost went with Team Wallflower, but I was like, no, I'm going to go with the Protector. I liked the character description for the Protector just a tad more, and I was like, I want this. So this is all going to be points based, and Maggie has certainly outdone herself. I am so excited. For both of these readathons that are going on this month, I am so excited. There are so many cool graphics. What's really cool is Maggie created, I think it's Lady Howlip's Society papers, and every Saturday, I believe, she's going to post a little society wrap up of what's kind of going on in the ton, according to our characters. Hi. Are you done? Cat coming through, my goodness. So I totally spaced whatever I was at. Oh, she's gonna do weekly things. What's really cool is, depending on the points you get, that's who your character gets matched with. So we've got a Duke, Baron, Earl, all the titles. But what's really fun is she has 2 tracks. She has the male track and the female track. So if you want to do a sapphic historical romance for your character, you can. I think she said the papers for the sapphic track are going to be pink or purple, and then I'm guessing the other one is just a normal parchment canvas type color. I'm super excited for it. What's even better about this is your bulk base of your points is just based off of the number of pages. So you can read whatever you want. You can choose just any book. You can mood read to your happiness. And you don't really have to go out of your way to hit any specific prompts if you don't want. And you still earn points. So the points are all based, like I said, on the number of pages. If it's 1 to 99 pages, it's 50 points. If it's 1 to 199 pages, it's 100 points. 200 page range, 200 points. 300, 300 points. 400, 400 points. And 500 plus pages is 500 points. So that's where I saw it cap. So if you read a 600 page book, I think it's still just 500 points. But where you can get kind of bonuses or extras for reading historical romance is in the bonus points option. So if you read a romance, it's plus 25 points because it is the romance readathon. If it's a historical romance, it's plus 50 points. And if you read either a BIPOC or an LGBTQ plus author, that is also another 50 points. She also announced there will be some weekly challenges that are posted, I think in the Discord. Like I said, check out Maggie's announcement video. She will have links to everything that you need to sign up and get access to graphics and join the Discord and stuff. But those weekly challenges, you can either get 50 points for your character or attack another character, and that minuses them 50 points. So I'm super excited. Like I said, the graphics are great. Everything's super cool. And, I'm loving it. And it's going to be super fun that every Saturday she drops a new society paper so we can see what's going on with our characters and what's going on in the ton. And I love readathons like this where they just, I love the simple ones, but I really enjoy being able to immerse yourself in something like this with all the fun graphics. I plan on making, since she said she plans on doing this a yearly thing with different themes, I plan on doing a romance readathon digital journal just for this. I just need to put it together. I still haven't done that yet, but As for books that are typically in my want to read list, I shoveled them in here. So we're going to touch base on specifically some historical romances that I would like to read. First off, I will mention in my Novellathon TBR from earlier this year, I did spinner wheels for every subgenre of romance that I have. I plan on at least reading one of the 4 historical romance novellas that I hadn't read yet during this month. I don't know which one. I might do the spinner wheel. I might just pick one. There was 6 in this TBR. I have read 2 of them. So we're down to 4 left. And who knows? Maybe I'll read all 4 of them. Because even though they'll have the lower base points, I'll get extra points for them being a romance and a historical romance. And then maybe even something extra for the author. So we'll see. But I feel like novellas are a good way to kind of participate, and if you aren't a big historical romance fan, maybe just pick up a novella and see what you think, and see before jumping into a new author or a new series or something like that. I don't know. I'm just excited. I love historical romance, and I'm excited to kind of jump in. So I also would like to continue my Vivian Lorette backlist deep dive. This is the next series I have. This is Misadventures in Matchmaking. Whoop, as I toss them everywhere. So book 1 is How to Forget a Duke. This book will be a reread for me. Book number 2 in the series is 10 Kisses to Scandal. And then the 3rd book in the series is The Rogue to Ruin. And once I get to this book, this will be the final full-length book that I have on Vivian Lorette's backlist. Now, the following series, Sins of a Wallflower, A Sin for All Seasons, Seasons of Sin. I need to remember this. The following series to this one, it's got sins in it, I think. That was the first series that I have read from her. And I have read all of the full-length books. There is a novella that I haven't read in that. So that would technically be my final backlist book that I hadn't read, but this will be the final full-length book of Vivian Lorette that I have read. I'm super excited. I decided to do this because earlier this year, so after the Sins series, was The Mating Habits of Scoundrels, and that is their only series so far that isn't a trilogy, if you don't count novellas, and that series has 5 books, and the final book came out of that earlier this year. And her new series, The Liars Club, starts, I think it's November 28th this one releases. So I wanted to go through and reread and read for the first time her entire backlist. I probably won't reread Mating Habits of Scoundrel because I've read that series so much, because I would reread each book in the series before the next one came out. So that series is still super prominent in my head, but I think it'll be exciting to go back and reread the following series after this one, because that was the first I read from Vivian Lorette that started my love for her. If you haven't heard of her, she is one of my favorite modern historical romance authors. There's just something that just really clicks with me with her writing, and I love her to pieces. So I'm super excited to continue my Vivian Lorette backlist binge, which is super exciting. And I can't believe I'm almost there to having it complete, which is super fun. I also, if you've been to my previous TBR videos, I still have not picked up The Wolf and the Wildflower. I have been mentioning this book in my TBR videos since it was released, and it's still sitting on my coffee table. What I might have to do is check it out on KU, because when it's late at night and I'm picking up a new book, I tend to go for my Kindle and not a paperback. But we shall see. I love Stacey Reid. I mean, this will get us the PIPOC author extra bonus points too. This is the first book in a new series of hers, and I need to read this book. And then we also have the new release from her this month. So I love Stacey Reid. We'll see if August is finally the month for me to finally get that book read. Then when I was looking at my historical romance author or my historical romance bookshelf, I was like, let me pick just one more book for fun to show you. And I went with Hitched to the Gunslinger by Michelle McLean. I do have the second book in this series as well. But I was thinking, let's possibly pick up this one. This is America Western historical romance, and I'm super excited for this. And then the other one that I was thinking of picking up specifically for historical romance with a BIPOC author is Reading More from Jeannie Lin. So the next books I have from her, so I have book 2 in her Pinkong Lee mysteries, which is The Jade Temptress. So I could pick back up that series, or I have The Dragon and the Pearl, which is the second book in her Tang Dynasty series. I have read this series in audiobook so far, and so I might pick up the audiobook for this one, but we will see what happens. But I'd like to read at least another book from Jeannie Lin. These are Chinese historical romance, and they're super fun. I love them a lot. Okay. I think that's everything I have to talk about the romance readathon. Novellas, Vivian the Rat, Stacey Reid, Jeannie Lin. That was my list to talk about. So yeah, there is the romance readathon Bridgerton / historical romance edition. All right, so the final readathon and the final thing I have to touch on for this TBR video is the magical readathon. Autumn Equinox. So we are in our autumn semester for the magical readathon. Spring was in April. She likes to do it in the 2A months. I know August isn't technically autumn, but this is what G does. This is what we do. I am super excited for this. This one's a little more prompts for your base classes for your character. My character is studying to become a moon warden. So I'm going to go over our prompts for my classes, and then we'll talk about the extra stuff that G has planned as well. So for the moon warden, for astronomy, I have to become qualified, which means 2 prompts. So for each of your classes, instead of just having a class with a prompt for what you're learning that semester, there are 3 levels to each of them. There's ordinary, qualified, and distinguished. I thankfully don't have any distinguished levels that I have to meet. I have a couple qualifieds, but I'm fine with that because there's a lot of extra stuff she also has planned, and I'm a completionist, so that helps me get it all. Plus any extra books I have outside of these prompts, I'll probably just try to apply to random classes just for fun to get more points and whatever for our team. But for astronomy, like I said, I have to become qualified in that. So I have to take the ordinary class, and that is Moon Song Ritual. And the prompt for that is word in the title of the last song you listened to. So let me pull up my Spotify and let's see what the last song I listened to was. I mean, I'm sure I listened to music that wasn't on Spotify, but we're going to go with Spotify because that'll be, oh, hey, look. All right, it'll be Bad Love by Key. And Key is a member of SHINee, which is a K-pop group, if you did not know. So I think that'll be easy. That'll be easy. A book with the word bad or love in the title. Being a romance reader, that'll be pretty easy, I think. So I don't think, okay, none of the 5 books I have pulled have either of those in it, but that's fine. That'll be super easy to hit. Then to become qualified in astronomy, we have Lunar Alignment, and that is to read a book from a finished series. So what she means by that is a series that has been fully published, and there are going to be no more books in it. So the Vivian Lorette books would count with that. The Gunslinger book would count for that. Ilona Andrews' Edge series would count for that. I feel like that one's a pretty easy book to hit, especially because I read mostly series books anyway. So there is everything we have to do for astronomy. Now, I also will have to take the elemental studies class. And for this, we just need to take the ordinary class, and that is the element of earth. And this is a book with earth in the title. I went through my Goodreads want to read list and I just searched for the word earth, and there were only like 4 or 5 options that popped up. But the one that sounded the most interesting to me is Hell on Earth by Brenda K. Davies. This is the first book in her Hell on Earth series. This is a paranormal urban fantasy, it seems like, with a demon hero. And this is like set after an apocalypse happens on Earth. And our heroine is a part of like a group of humans living in the wilderness who are trying to survive in this new post-apocalyptic world. And she ends up teaming up with this demon, and either she's hunting him secretly or he's hunting her secretly, but they don't know. I don't know. It sounded interesting. I'm intrigued. New author to me. And I had it marked as one to read on Goodreads several years ago, so we'll see how it goes. Then the next class I have to take is Spells and Incantation, and this one we just have to meet the ordinary level. And the class for this is to learn a charm short trip, and that is to read a manga, a graphic novel, or a comic. I recently put together my bookshelves in my bedroom. If you've noticed, my bookshelf has since changed positions. I did an Organize My Books with Me. You can see that up there if you haven't. But that has since, as you can probably tell, has changed and moved from where it was originally, which was a project I had to do recently. And so already everything is different. But that's okay. But I was able to put up my Asian shelf where I have like all of my K-pop and J-pop CDs, as well as all of my manga. And I've been wanting to reread some of it because it's been a while since I've read manga. I also, have my Buffy comics back out and on a bookshelf, so I could pick up one of those. I could pick up one of the webtoon books I have. There's lots of options. You just gotta pick one, Okay, and then the final class I have is Restoration, and that I have to become qualified in. So our ordinary class is to learn Induce Sleep, and that is to start a book before bed, super easy to hit. And then our qualified class is to learn Relocating Pain, and that is to read a book in a different spot each time you pick it up. So I can be super silly and pick up a novella, so I don't have to worry about that. But otherwise, I've got my couch, I've got my bed, I've got my chair. I could read on the floor, I guess. I could pick a book up at work. I could go sit in my car, We can make it work. I'm not worried about that, but that one is another kind of slightly easier one to hit. You just have to be a little mindful when you're picking up a book if you've already read it before and it's not applying to one of these other prompts. Now, let's talk about the extra stuff, because like I said, I'm a completionist. I like to you're gonna give me a list of things, and all of these extra things that you could do, I'm probably gonna do the extra things. Like, I was the straight A kid with an over 4.0 GPA because I did all of the extra AP classes and I did all the extra credit. I'm like, no, you're gonna give me, like, you could do this, but you could also do all of this. I'm gonna do all of this because I want to get it done, and I want to complete everything I can, especially when it's something fun like this, right? So, last equinox, in our spring equinox, she had like a really cool quest line that was assisting the alchemy professor. We're not doing that this year. If you did not do that, though, you can do the quest line. It's available all the time. You can pick that up at any point. It's just the points that you would get from submitting the books during the Readathon. I mean, we're just not submitting books anymore for that. I mean, you could also do it this Readathon, but there's already a lot going on. But anyway, I'll move forward. She has added 3 different mechanics for this Readathon. The first is she has a supplementary thing that has qualifications and opportunities. And these are going to be a mixture of reading prompts and other prompts. So there's 2 qualifications and 2 opportunities. So the first qualification is to earn your dragon writing license. Yes, please. I am a dragon girly. So the prompts for this is to read 2 books that have dragons in them and then watch a movie or a show with a dragon. There's a lot of options I could do for these. There is a specific movie on Amazon that I saw Romance Schmomance posted about a while ago. It's available on Amazon Prime. I think it's a foreign film, but it is basically a dragon shifter romance. So I've been wanting to watch that, and I think now is the time. But you could also watch a TV show. I mean, Game of Thrones. There's so much that's out there. Lord of the Rings, Hobbit. I mean, there's so many movies out there with dragons in it that you could probably pick. You could find an easy time finding something with dragons. As for the books, I have in my 2023 digital planner as one of my goals for the year is to reread the Dragonkin series by G.A. Aiken. I did not grab the books. I have them on paperback. But I think it's time to finally start my reread of that series. The first book is Dragon Actually. I'll just pop it here. I love this series. This is one of my favorite series. I've been wanting to reread this series because I haven't started her Scarred Earth Saga series yet. And I know it loosely kind of ish, maybe not as loosely. I'm not sure. I know it associates or it spin-offs somehow of the Dragonkin series. And so I have been wanting to reread this series for a while. I think it's finally time to start my reread of this series. I haven't pushed to start it because when I first read this series, I binged it. And the second time I reread this series, I binged it. So I have too much going on. I can't suddenly do a binge of 9 books and 4 or 5 novellas. Although one of the novellas I still haven't read yet, which I was like, oh my gosh, I have a novella I haven't read yet in this series. So that'll be exciting as well. But first book is Dragon Actually. I believe the second book is about a dragon, but at least one of the books I might pick up will be from the G.A. Aiken Dragonkin series. We shall see. But I definitely 100% want to do the dragon writing license because I think that would be super cool. And I want my character to be licensed to ride a dragon because how fun is that? The other qualification you can sign up for is a sand ship engineer certification. So you can drive and work on sand ships. This is to read 2 books that have a desert setting. And the non-bookish prompt is to doodle a ship. I'm not a very good doodler or drawer, but I could do a basic ship, right? But desert setting. I read this and instantly my mind was like, okay, it's time. It's time. Alessa Thorne is one of my favorite authors. If you've been around here, you've heard me wax poetic by her a lot. I still have not picked up her Gods of the Duat series. This is mythology retellings. This trilogy is specifically Egyptian gods. It is Set, Thoth, and Anubis. I still have not finished the series this spun off of. I love Alessa Thorne, but I tend to really want to binge her books, but then I hold myself because I don't want to run out of books on her backlist that I could pick up when I want a new Alessa Thorne book. It's a problem because I want to read them all, but I want to save some for a rainy day. But I think now is finally the time to read the last 3 books in the Court of the Underworld. That is the Greek mythology-based series. What I have left is Thanatos, Karen, and Erebus, I think. Because I read the first 4 books. Because it's Asterion, Medusa, Hades, and Hermes. Yeah, and then we have these 3, so yeah. So I want to read those 3 so that I could read 2, but if I read the 2, I know I'm going to want to read the 3rd because I will not want to wait for Anubis. But so I might go on a Alessa Thorne binge. So I don't know. This month might be favorite author binge of G.A. Aiken, Stacey Reid, Vivian Lorette, Alessa Thorne. Who knows? I might just be all over the place. But another desert option that I have in mind is to finally start Undiscovered by Anna Hackett. This is the first book in her Treasure Hunter Security series. And this one, I know has kind of like mummy vibes. I have only read Anna Hackett's sci-fi series, but this one I have been saving because, you know, Mummy is, you know, is a Bookstagram fave. It is one of my favorite movies. I have been constantly on my boss for the past like year plus to be like, have you watched The Mummy yet? We talked about it yesterday. I was like, I'm going to tie you to your couch and make you watch The Mummy and Stardust. But I'm excited to read this. I don't know if I'll get to it this month, but if I decide not to do an Alessa Thorne binge or I want to get this one done first before I just completely go on my mood reading binges, this might be one of the other desert books I pick up. Like I said, mummy vibes. Our hero is a security agent and he's going to protect or do some sort of whatever at an Egyptian archaeological dig, and the heroine is like the archaeologist that's doing that. Okay, so there's qualifications. There's also 2 opportunities. So you can become an apothecary keeper. So think of these as like university jobs that you can get during the semester, or like little side jobs, second jobs you can pick up. So you can read, so for apothecary keeper, you read 2 books with plants on the cover. I feel like with historical romances, that's very easy to hit. Although I don't think any of the ones that I have pulled physically have. I mean, technically this has a flower on it, just not an actual flower. I guess it's plants on the cover, not just flowers. My brain said flowers. This one has some flower embroidery on the pillowcase there. I guess that counts. Maybe. Possibly. Oh, and then How to Forget a Duke has a tiny little plant right there. I mean, I feel like usually there's more plants on historical romance covers, just not the ones I have in here. But that's fine. That's another, I feel like, fairly easy one to hit. And then the non-bookish prompt is to find and document at least 5 different flowers. So G just wants you to post pretty flower pictures in the Discord group or on Instagram. Then the other opportunity is to be a bog cataloger. This one only has 2 prompts, and that is to read a book either by a body of water or with a body of water on the cover. That I think is pretty easy to hit, especially in summertime for us, because if you're reading summer-based books, I feel like a lot of them are like beaches or lakes, or like it's very easy, I think, to find water on a cover, especially when you're reading like summertime books. And then the non-bookish prompt for this one is to watch an animal documentary. There's a lot of great documentaries I've seen and I have saved on my Disney Plus account, especially on the National Geographic side. So that's another one. Sit down for 45 minutes to an hour and watch a fun documentary. I know that they've added some fun new ones for sharks too, for Shark Week. I saw an ad in my email for them. Okay, final thing. Oh my goodness. She just wants my attention. She's like, why are we sitting here for almost an hour talking about books, Mama? I could get cuddles. All right, so we have this fun little thing here, and that is an Impling Summoning Challenge. Now, like I mentioned last semester, there was the quest with the alchemy teacher. This is going to be a summoning that you're learning from, I think it's the demonology teacher. It's the demon class. Let me look. Let me double check. I have it pulled up here. Let me just switch things. Yeah, the demonology class. So the little character you can see on this is the demonology professor. Now, you can do this without taking the demonology class. You don't have to read the prompts for it or anything. But this is just something fun and extra to learn how to summon implings. Now, as you can see, there is the like chart. Oh my gosh. You and your cat Buzz. And this is kind of set up a little bit different. So as you can see, there are like blue dots on this, and those are going to be the prompts that you have to hit. Now, the prompts to highlight or activate a section is to meet those two prompts. So you basically have to look at the prompts in pairs. But in order, they are between 400 and 450 pages, a letter that appears twice, released this or last year, blue on the cover, start a book at night, and read a book from an author that you've previously read. Now, you can do however many books you want. You can do one book for each section of the chart, or you can do one book that covers all of your bases. And for me, I chose that option because there's so much going on. And I'm going to pick up Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer. Now, when I found this book and it met all of the prompts except for author you've read before, what did I do? Well, it's the end of July, and I'm currently reading my first Stephanie Archer book. So when it comes to August, I can read this, and it will now count for all of the prompts. One book, summon the impling. I don't know. I was like, great, this will make it one and done, super easy, and I can complete it with just one read, which is super great. But yeah, that's all that G has planned. Like I said, I will link everybody down below. This is a long TBR. Cheese wants attention. So we're going to wrap up here. Thank you so much for watching. If you are participating or doing a TBR or doing any of the readathons, whether I mention them or not, let me know down below. If you'd like to just leave me an emoji, pick a team. Are you team historical romance or are you team magical readathon? Let me know. Pick an emoji that correlates to either of the readathons, but otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all soon with another video.